everyone. My name is Ntokozo Badli, and welcome to the Christian Base. Or should I say the wilderness? This is the first episode of Christian Base where we're having Christian based conversations. They are biblical centric, they are Christ centric, tackling topics that are rather difficult and they are challenging in the faith. Or 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, which says that always be ready to give a defense of the faith that is in you. So this is us as young people that are believers giving a defense of the faith. Why do we believe? Why are we Christian? And today I have a special guest, Ntokozo. Ntokozo, welcome to the Christian Base.
Thank you very much. Hello, Ntokozo is Badli, is the name. He's basically from the Eastern Cape. It's called Mtata. I grew up there, and then I finished off my growth journey before I was an adult in Gauteng, in a place called Katlehong.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't. Yeah.
Grew up in Katlehong. I was raised by two parents. That is God's grace.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I appreciate God every day for that. And then I came to Cape Town to study. And then I'm working here now, based in Deep River for now.
Okay. I wanted us to talk because it's Christian based, and I had an idea that as believers at times, we find it that we don't know how to explain to the non-believers as to what it means to be Christian. It seems like we can't really answer, it's like, I'm a Christian because I am born again or I'm saved, but then it just ends there. But I want you first to take us back as to how did your journey start with Christ, with becoming a Christian?
So my journey is not so popular. I wouldn't say I remember a day where I was in the altar. Ooh. And I raised up my hand and said I received Christ. I grew up in a family of Christians. So my father is a preacher. So every night when we were praying, he'd make us do the sinner's prayer. And then we didn't understand what it meant, but we knew that we had to comply. So we grew up like that. And then this other day, year, I was in primary school. So I was changing school from one to another. And then it was far away from home.
Okay.
So I got excited because I had this much freedom. So what they did then, in order to govern us and make sure that we don't make noise after school, because there would be choirs and all that, they'd take us and put us in a class that's the same grade as ours. So it was grade 8 then, so grade 8, grade 9, grade 8 A, B and C. So they take us all and put us in grade C. So I'm going there excited, my first time. And then I see this bunch of learners sitting around a table with a red mouth Bible opened in front of them. And then they're discussing. And then I'm curious, it's a feeling that I've never had before. I'm curious. I wanted to see because I know this from home. So I want to see what's happening. And then I go there and listen. And then this brother welcomes me. Brother, welcome. You can sit down. And then they begin to talk. And then I want to contribute as well because they are saying the right things, but there's some things that I don't understand that they are saying, and then I want to correct and all that. And then I'm getting to realize that I'm actually convinced by this. One other preacher, Paul Washer, says he was preaching to this man who was on his deathbed. So he said, you have to preach the gospel until the person believes. So he was sitting on the deathbed, and then he opened the Bible, kept on preaching the Bible. He was not asking him to do anything. Yes. Brother, do you understand? And kept on preaching. Up until, he says it's a miracle, because up until the brother said, no man, I'm saved. I'm saved. And then he's asking, why are you convinced? No, because I believe what you're saying. And
keyword believe.
And you are saying that if I believe what you are saying, then I'm saved. So I'm saved. He said, I cried because it was a miracle happening in front of me. God changing somebody's heart in front of you from an unbeliever, a staunch unbeliever to a believer. My journey was like that as well. I did not have a moment where I had had a couple of sinners' prayers, but then that's just one day when I realized that I believe this.
I actually believe.
I believe in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And then now there was this fire in me. Now I want to preach to somebody else.
So you just mentioned two important things. Spoke about being raised in a Christian family, and then I love that you said that you appreciative of how you grew up and that's how you were raised. But then you went on a journey of finding God for yourself. And then you also spoke about, I know that it will be interesting even for Christians that are listening or just watching, is the fact that, because when we think about being Christian and being saved and being born again, we all think about the altar call. Because I don't think there's a lot of people, or I haven't heard a lot of people when they tell their stories of how they encountered God. Because I've heard like few people that say that I had a moment in my room. And I want you to speak on that, because you spoke about belief. How important is it to believe?
It's the basis. You don't get to, when Paul is making an argument about the Christian faith itself, that what it is and how righteousness comes on about. He makes two distinctions. In fact, he makes two arguments against two separate. He was talking to unbelievers when he was writing to Romans. So he was writing to Jews. He was writing to Gentiles as well. And then he is comparing them in a way. And then he first talks about the ones who are not Jews, which is the Gentiles. He says that in chapter 2, verse 15.
Yes.
You have done what the law requires, even though you did not receive the law. That proves that the law of God is written in your hearts. So you have become a law unto yourself. So when you break the law, even though you have not received the written one, you are breaking God's law, and then you're sinning against God. And then he says to the Jew that don't think you are any better as well, that you have received God's things and then you are the chosen ones. Don't you know that righteousness does not come by works, but it comes by faith? So, and then it goes on and makes that argument for a whole period of chapters. And then he quotes Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4, that the right shall live by faith.
By faith alone.
So it is based off faith. The Christian faith as well, it is not based on merit. I know we'll get into that, but it is based on faith alone. There's what Augustus made famous in the early 1600s. I'm not sure. He says that he puts it as sola fide. There's 5 solas. Sola fide, it is Latin for faith alone. The Christian faith is based entirely on faith. It is there's what is called imputation. So how imputation works is that God takes Christ. He, as Isaiah prophesies, he harms him, he beats him, he bruises him for our trespasses, our iniquities. And then he takes his whole wrath, he puts it upon Christ
himself.
The wrath that we deserved. And then he takes Christ's righteousness, he puts it upon us. And then we only believe. So it is entirely God's work. When you read the book of Ezekiel chapter 36, I think chapter 11 as well, he talks about that. God puts, he introduces an account that you have sinned against me. You have done all sorts of wrong against me. And then you have defiled my name, but let me now save my name again. He let me vindicate, use that name.
To vindicate.
Let me vindicate my name. I will give you a heart of flesh. I'll take out the heart of stone. I'll give you a heart of flesh, so that, and then I'll write my name on your hearts. Even in Jeremiah, it says that. So you can see that it is entirely God's work.
It has nothing to do with.
Done nothing.
We have done nothing.
You have done this against me, but because I'm a merciful God, I will do this
for you.
And I will do this. And then how will we see that you have been saved? You will believe that and you will be saved.
It goes back to that. Yeah.
So, yes.
And you know that how interesting is that is I have come across with people that say, but I'm a good person. I'm a good person and I do good. I'm not selfish. I am not patient. I'm not impatient with people. Sort of like all the fruit of the spirit, as to say. I have those, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be Christian. Do I really have to be Christian to believe in God to do that? Why do I need this God if I can do it on my own? And a matter of fact that we have Christians that are not as patient, that are not as kind. So how do we as Christians respond to that in terms of like now it seems like it's more moralistic, is that I can do this, I can do this, and how do we respond to that?
A method that I always employ when I'm evangelizing.
Yeah. Evangelist in the house.
Kind of people when you are evangelizing and then they'll be like, "Oh, you are a Christian." Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Christian. Oh, that's why you're preaching to me. Now I'm Christian as well. I'm born again as well. And then you get to understand when you talk to them that they don't understand the faith. Yeah. But they're just claiming that they're Christian because it's either they want you to leave them alone, or they go to church but they don't understand
what it actually is.
Yeah. So a method I always employ is that, okay, you are Christian, right? Yes, I'm born again. Yes. You are saved in a way. Yes.
In a what? He said,
but what are you saved from?
Yeah.
And then I almost never get an answer to that.
Yeah.
What are you saved from?
Yeah.
Why should you believe in Jesus Christ? I mean, he died 2,000 years ago. He was a Jew.
Yeah.
You are Xhosa, Zulu.
Yeah. How do I relate to it?
You are African in 2024.
Yeah.
So why should you believe in a man that died 2,000 years ago and he's not even of your ethnicity?
Yeah.
And then they never get to answer
that.
So in order to answer that, you have to have the full picture of what the Christian journey is, or the salvation journey is as well. So we sinned against God.
Yeah.
The first people, they sinned against God. And then the Bible says there was enmity between God and man. In other words, God was angry at man.
That's another conversation out there, because people don't want to believe that God can be. Yes, I mean, that's another conversation.
He should be
that's another conversation. Yeah. He should be kind and. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So he was angry with men to show that he was. We sinned against God. We love to do what God hates. Yeah. And we hate to do what God loves. If I have to get something that I want, I steal it. I know God says I should not steal.
You should not, yeah.
I should not lie. I love lying. I should not commit adultery. It's very easy. It's very easy to sin. It's difficult to do what is right. Yeah. So we hate to do what is right. We love to do what is wrong.
So much what Paul said.
Yes. Yeah. So we in our nature, it is embedded in our nature before we're born. There's no adult or there's no parent who raises a child and say, okay, if you want to steal, you should look for, guard the coast and check if there's no one around. Yeah. And then make sure that whatever you steal, don't get caught. No parent teaches a child that. No parent teaches a child how to lie. No parent teaches a child how to be jealous. Yeah. Babies are jealous even before they're even able to speak. Even before they're able to rationalize. So
it's in nature.
It's in their nature. It's embedded in their nature. Yeah. So we had enmity with God because we are haters of God. Whew. And then God has been showing us signs throughout the Old Testament that I'll be doing this. Yeah. Even the first book of the Old Testament, Genesis, he prophesies about Jesus Christ. Yeah. That when he talk, Jacob is blessing his sons, and then he says to Judah, the scepter of rulership shall not depart from your hand until Shiloh comes.
Yes.
The other versions, they say until the Messiah comes. Shiloh was the Messiah. So Shiloh actually comes. And then Jacob again, when he is in that place that is unknown, and then he sleeps upon the rock.
Yes.
And then he says, and then he has a dream that he saw angels ascending and descending, and a long ladder going to heaven, and then angels descending and ascending upon him.
Yes.
And then when Jesus Christ comes in the New Testament, he actually takes that and says, I am that ladder.
I am that.
From this day you shall see angels ascending and descending upon me.
Yeah.
So God made a plan when we were sinners, when he was angry at us, at the whole
Such
human
grace.
nature. And then he decided, okay, you have sinned against me. Another preacher makes a very nice example.
Yeah.
He says, salvation or grace is that I take a thief, someone that has just sinned against me, he's taken my furniture, whatever. I take him back, I forgive him, and then I assure him that you have been forgiven. And then I take him, I adopt him as a son. And then I give him my surname. And then this thief now in the whole neighborhood is known as my son.
Wow.
So it's not really a good image on my side.
Yeah.
Because I've taken someone who's vile, who's dirty, but I've made him mine. And it does not even end there. You are mine, I'll take care of you.
Sure.
I'll clean you up. I'll make you what you have to become.
I love that.
So this is the gospel in a nutshell. We sinned against God, and then God in his mercy decided that I will save you. And then he takes us in. So every human being is involved. Now, where does Jesus Christ fall in the picture? God chose one way.
Yeah.
Out of all generations, out of all times, he chose one way, that there's this one person that I will put all men's wrath that they deserve upon him, and then I'll take his righteousness, I'll put it upon all those who believe. All generations, all times, all ethnicities, or everyone who believes in Jesus Christ will be saved, whether Jew or Gentile. So that is the gospel in a nutshell. So why are you saved? Because God chose to save you. Why should I believe in Jesus Christ? Because Jesus Christ is the only way that God has chosen to save people.
Wow. What you just said, and what just stands out for me from what you just said, is just the attribute of God, that he is, I just see his patience. I see the patience of God, because even Paul says that we have fallen short of his grace. We actually don't deserve this. And just to move, I'm thinking about being a Christian, that it almost seems to me that to understand being saved, to understand being reconciled with Christ himself, there's an understanding that we need to have, because because I believe that this conversation, we're not only speaking to believers, but to unbelievers as well. For someone who says that, okay, I hear you, we're talking about Christ dying for us, and that we were sinners and we needed saving, and that our works don't really do the saving, but let's go back a bit. That who's God? because without God we don't have Christianity. Who's God?
There is only one God.
Amen.
Let me just put it like that. There is only one God, and he is the Christian God.
Yes.
It's a huge statement, I know.
Yeah. As a highlight. Sure.
So there's something that's called apologetics. I'm sure you know.
Yes.
So there's different kinds of ones, but I lean more to the presuppositional one, because they make really nice, I'd say, claims or statements to prove who God is and why should we believe in God. Now, there's methods that they use in order to argue the existence of God.
Yeah.
First of all, an overarching statement or claim is that everyone, as Paul says, they always quote the book of Romans chapter 2, I think it's verse 15, where the one that I just quoted now, that Gentiles did not have the law of God presented to them.
Yeah.
But then they did what the law of God required them to do, to prove that the law of God has been written in their hearts.
Yeah.
What they do to explain that is that they use, number one, what they call consistency of nature. You don't wake up the next morning worried, even if you are a staunch atheist.
Yes.
I'm not
Interesting.
bashing science.
Interesting.
Science is a tool that God uses as well for us to see what He has done, He has created. So you wake up, you have plans that you're going to work, you do this and this and this, but science does not give you proof that things are going to be as you wish them to be. So you have this form of faith.
Like a sure thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have faith in a way. Nature is consistent in its way, and it has been like that.
Yeah.
So the question that they ask is that, what law of nature keeps everything like that?
Like that.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's another one that I'm going to touch on. It's similar to this one. It's morality.
Yes.
Who decides what is good and what is evil? If we, as atheist scientists, believe, if we're just matter in motion, we're just stardust, we're just material. If we're just that, atoms that just happen to, because this atheist, forgot his name, Richard Dawkins, was asked what is evil. And then he said there's no evil. Nothing that's evil. There's no evil, there's no good. It's just atoms deciding to do what they want to do. And then now the opponent is asking, based off what?
Of what?
So if you wake up in the next morning and you say, I've just lost my baby.
Yeah.
Why should I care?
Yeah.
Like that, because it's meaningless. There's no meaning in life most.
Yeah.
Why should I care? Is it okay if I decide now to kill?
To kill some, yeah.
Is it okay if I decide to steal?
Yeah.
Is it
Why
okay?
Why is that wrong?
Why is that wrong? Why was 9/11 wrong?
Yeah.
Why was the Holocaust wrong? Why was apartheid wrong if we're just atoms? Why shouldn't I feel the same way when I see someone getting beaten, the same way I see someone just kicking a rock?
Yes.
Because we're just atoms, all of us. So there has to be some sort of an intelligent designer behind all of that.
Everything.
There has to be a law. In fact, what presuppositional apologetics says is that nothing makes sense without the Christian God.
Yes.
Nothing, and then they emphasize it's the Christian God. The reason it is the Christian God, it's that all the attributes that are mentioned in the Bible are consistent with what we are seeing in nature.
We are seeing, yeah.
You see, so and then they make this argument that okay, so these laws of logic, it's morality, it's consistency of nature.
Yes.
And then they make this argument that don't think that we see science as an atheistic tool.
Because even as science,
even science itself, it's God's design.
God's design, yes.
So we get to see what God has created, and we discover every day. The science does not create. Science just is a tool to explore. So we use that, and then for people who would be wondering, okay, now I believe in God, but then what do I do with my career? Because I'm already a scientist. Use your career to glorify God.
And it reminds me of Colossians chapter 1 that everything has been created
for him
and by him.
Exactly.
Yeah.